Hello viewers, this is Fastlane Classic Cars. I'm Jake, and in front of me today is a beautiful 1971 Plymouth Barracuda. This specific Barracuda is powered by a 440. I'm going to gloss over the engine for now. I'll get back to it later because our in-house restoration department has done some awesome modifications and work to this engine to make it a very reliable and snappy platform, and I want to get into it more in depth after I talk about the rest of the car. But it is a 440. Backed by a 3-speed automatic transmission. This car has black vinyl interior with bucket seats to go with the nice black vinyl top against this red paint. Looks absolutely awesome. 15-inch rally wheels with beauty rings and center caps. It's got BF Goodrich Radial TAs on it with the white letters, which look absolutely awesome. It's got the 440 stripe package on the rear fender, and as you can see, the matte wing on the back. I like the wing on old muscle cars like this. Christopher Stabile, that's normally in these videos with me, hates wings on the back of cars like this. I think they look cool though, especially with the black vinyl top and the black stripe package. The black wing just breaks up the red paint a little bit and looks awesome. Another thing I love about the 71 Barracuda are these vents, or these faux vents, in the side of the front fender. I think they look absolutely awesome. They kind of look like the gills of a fish, a barracuda, if you will. Another thing I love is the front grille. It's very unique. No other car has a front grille that looks like this. When you see this coming down the road, you know immediately that you're looking at a 71 Cuda. This car also has the hood pins, which give it more of a race car vibe, and I always thought were super cool on old Mopars. I like the cars with hood pins. And this car has an awesome hood with the Cuda 440-6 badges on the side of the cowls. Behind the 15-inch rally wheels are power brakes. The rear are drums, but the front are discs, so you can have reliable stopping power over and over and over again without worrying about overheating your drums, which is awesome. This car has dual exhaust, and in the back we do have a limited slip differential with 323 gears. Kind of low for the highway, but you have only 3 speeds. And when I get into the engine, you'll realize that you don't need super high gears to go fast because it has an awesome fuel system and engine package up front. Speaking of the engine, I'm going to get onto that right now. Like I said, it is a 440. It did have a 6-pack system on it with triple carburetors, 3 2-barrels, but it no longer has that. This now has a FiTech fuel injection system. And before you go thinking, why would you get rid of the super cool looking 6-pack triple carburetor system, this FiTech fuel system mimics the 6-pack. This actually has 3 different fuel injectors that look like 3 little 2-barrel carburetors sitting on top of the engine. So you still have the awesome 6-pack look, but you have the modern reliability and performance of a fuel injection system. And on this 440, it really wakes it up, makes the throttle response awesome, and it makes it really awesome to drive. And you don't have to worry about 3 carburetors being finicky in the winter or if it's cold outside. You can just start this thing right up and drive it whenever you want with reliable fuel injection. The FiTech system comes with a 1/4 gallon reservoir and a secondary fuel pump up front, so it can reliably pump a consistent amount of fuel pressure into the FiTech system, which means it'll never break up. It's smooth all the time. Along with the FiTech fuel injection system, which does come with a little screen, a module mounted under the dash inside the car, so you can monitor things like coolant temp, AFR, fuel pressure, things like that inside the car while you're driving to make sure that everything's running healthy and the way that it should. Our restoration department also installed a set of Dakota digital gauges. They have the same layout as the factory gauges that were in this car, but you have digital readouts now, which is just awesome. They look really cool and they light up. You have RPM, oil pressure, coolant temp, fuel, obviously, speedo, so you can monitor everything while you're driving your car with awesome Dakota digital gauges. With the fuel injection system that we installed, the restoration department also had the heads reworked. They were sent off and got decked, and when everything went back together, it got new gaskets. So you have new head gaskets, valve covers, oil pan, rear main seal. This engine was sealed up with all new gaskets, so you don't have to worry about it leaking oil all over your driveway and making a mess, like most old cars do from this era. And I think that just about does it for the running gear and the modifications to this awesome 1971 Cuda. And I think the only thing left to do now is take it for a spin and see how it drives. Okay, inside the 1971 Barracuda. Snappy throttle. Can already tell the fuel injection has made a huge difference. Now, I did drive this car before it had the fuel injection with the triple carbs, and it was great. It ran good. It's a 440. They're pretty powerful, they're pretty fun, but with the fuel injection, it just wakes it up a little bit more. And now I get to look at these awesome Cuda digital gauges in front of me. Again, same layout, but I have a digital odometer and a clock, an awesome speedo with a little RPM gauge in it, fuel, coolant temp, voltage, and oil pressure, which are all very nice. And then down here under the ashtray, don't smoke, kids, smoke tires, not cigarettes, you have the FiTech little module, the screen down here where you can monitor all sorts of stuff. Right now I'm looking at the RPM, a fuel map, vacuum, coolant temp, spark advance, air fuel ratio, and it shows me the target AFR, which are lined up perfectly. We're targeting 13.6 right now at idle. We're at 13.7, 13.6. Look at that, perfect. All right, let's throw this thing and drive and see what it's gonna do. This does have power steering and power brakes. Like I mentioned, discs in the front, so you get reliable stopping power rather than four-wheel drums, which four-wheel drums are fine. They work great, especially when they're power. But having discs in the front is just that much nicer, especially when you have a rocket ship of a 440 mounted under your hood. You want to be able to stop, because these aren't lightweight cars either. Back in '71, these were boats. Although this one's pretty comfy. It's got a nice ride. It's a Mopar. In my opinion, they always had nicer interiors, and they rode the best out of the old muscle cars. I like these vinyl bucket seats. They're also very comfortable. Vinyl up here on the dashboard is in great condition. It's got nice stitching. It's not cracked anywhere. Very soft. Oh, listen to it. Sounds so nice. I love looking out over this hood too, with the big cowls in it and the 446 badges on it. 440-6, I should say. Big wooden steering wheel. Very old Mopar. Steering's pretty responsive. There's a little bit of play in the center, like every car from the 70s. But it handles nice. And the throttle response is great. You don't get any of that carburetor nonsense where sometimes it breaks up. It's just snappy and responsive every time you want to put your foot in it, which is just awesome. The interior in general is in really nice condition. The headliner is great. It's not drooping anywhere. None of the seats are torn or anything. Very nice. You got the nice faux wood down here on the console around the shifter, because faux wood was the way of the 70s. We do have the Chrysler solid state radio down here. We do have an antenna. I haven't tested this. It might work if I can find a station. It looks like it might be AM. I don't see FM anywhere. It does have the push buttons on it though. I'll check that when I get back. But overall, really nice. It tracks in a straight line. Brakes in a straight line. The brakes are awesome. And then when you want to get going again, the fuel injection kicks in and you take off. The 323 gears in the back are a really nice ratio for this car, being only a 3-speed. Low enough to still cruise down the highway. Let's see, I'm doing about 50 miles an hour and I'm barely touching 2,000 RPM, which isn't bad. You're not going to be droning and then 3.5, 4 grand on the highway, which is nice. But it is a limited slip, so if you wanted to peel out and burn the tires off, you absolutely could. This 440 is perfectly capable of doing that. I'm not going to be doing that today because I want to save this for the next person to enjoy with nice newer tires on it rather than burning off all the tread. This is a really lovely, easy car to drive. It's not really like an old factory muscle car where you're kind of fighting it the whole time. It just drives like a modern car. Obviously it's older, so it rides like an older car, steers like an older car, but with that FiTech system, just sits here and idles perfectly happy. We're at 200 degrees. We've been at 200 degrees this whole time. Hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down. It's just sitting there perfectly. AFR, still great. Oil pressure, still fantastic. Really pleasant experience. Plus it sounds good. This does have dual exhaust, like I mentioned, which you need to have that on a 440. So it sounds really nice when you want to put your foot in it. Almost too good, because you're going to want to floor it all the time. And it probably does get better fuel mileage with the fuel injection, but the 440 was not built for fuel economy. So you're going to pass everything but a gas station, which is just fine with me. It's how muscle cars are supposed to be. If you want to go really far on one tank of fuel, buy a Prius. But I want this over a Prius any day of the week. Alright, here we are at our stop sign, which means a little bit of a bean test. We'll see how this does. There's a car in front of me though. Give them some space. Woo! Fuel injection works great. Wasn't trying to do that, but the response, oh, the response was awesome. And it's a limited slip, which means you don't get that wimpy one tire fire. Sorry everybody, I won't do that again. God, the response of the throttle is just awesome with this system on it. It drives so nice. Oil pressure is still great. Right at about 40, and the car is warmed up, so it's going to be a little lower than it did when I cold started it. But this is absolutely awesome. Oh, it's so nice. Plus, it's safe because it has both side mirrors, which was an option back in the day, and they're the chrome mirrors, which is another cool thing that some Mopars got back then that I think is absolutely awesome. How ridiculous is it to have chrome door mirrors on your car? That's just how Mopar does it though. They like to do crazy stuff, crazy colors, crazy options. And this car is no different. And I've been running this car for about, I don't know, 15 minutes. I've had to stop and let it idle while I pick up my camera and stuff. Temperature, still fantastic, right around 200. Hasn't moved. This thing just loves driving around. Has no problem with it at all. For an old car, that's really impressive. To see, this is a 71, which means it's 9, 29, 49, 54 years old, 2025. 54 is a lot of years. I'm not even half that old. Stabile would get really mad at me if he heard me say that. He doesn't like it when I talk about how young I am compared to him. But he's not here, so I don't care. And this little side road that I'm taking the turnaround is pretty bumpy. The ride's nice. I'm not getting beat up. It's not rattling or anything. If you hear that little bit of rattle, it's my stupid camera gimbal laying over here. Here, I'll hold on to it. Nothing. The thing's quiet. There's no squeaks. No unnerving noises. Really impressive again for a car from 1971, because that was normal back then. They came factory with squeaks and rattles. So this has somehow gotten better. I left with about half a tank of gas. I've lost about 1/8 of a tank, although I have been getting on it a few times for the video and stuff. So if you drive it a little more tame than I have, probably get better mileage than that. But like I said, this car is not about fuel economy. Mopar were not concerned with fuel economy in 1971. Now, the years following, they absolutely were, because of the fuel crisis. But in 71, this is kind of the last of the big boy, high horsepower 440 muscle cars with the six-pack. So they didn't care. Gas was plentiful, and therefore they were aiming for horsepower. And boy, did they deliver on that front. Very fun car to drive, very quick. Even by today's standards, I think. This holds up. It's a fast vehicle. Now, this particular one doesn't have air conditioning, which is the one thing that I would have installed if I bought this car. Although today it's not that hot, and you do have little vents down here that I've had closed the whole time for some reason. It actually lets an awesome breeze in through the footwell, to where if you're moving fast enough, you really don't need air conditioning. It's actually really nice that old cars had this. I wish new cars had something like that, to where you could just open up outside air vents and have the nice air rushing in. They should bring that back. As far as the dash layout goes, you have all the gauges laid out in a line in front of you. The big one on the left is your speedo and your RPM, along with the digital odometer and a digital clock. And then in order from left to right after that, you have fuel, coolant temp, voltage, and oil pressure, which again, all of them are sitting perfectly where they need to be. To the left of the RPM and speedometer, you have all the switches over here for your wipers, your dimmer switch, your headlights, all that good stuff. And below it, you have your heater and blower controls. Again, no air conditioning, but you have the vents if you want AC. The outside air is the air conditioning. To the right of the steering wheel down here is that Chrysler solid state radio that I mentioned earlier. Again, it looks like it only has FM or AM, I'm sorry. Horn works, which you need that in an old car. Cranky windows, they're not mad at you. You just gotta crank them to put them up and down. But they build character. You don't need power windows. Other than that, that's kind of it for creature comforts. You do have a cigarette lighter and an ashtray right here. But again, don't smoke, kids. Smoke tires, not cigarettes. And this is perfectly capable of smoking its tires if you so choose. But cruising here along the service road back to fast lane is pleasurable. I can take my hand off the wheel, it tracks in a straight line. I can just sit here and relax. Steering's nice. Again, everything's staying cool and running good as it should. Air-fuel ratio still fantastic. And I love that I can actually watch the air-fuel ratio because of the FiTech system. And again, the FiTech system is cool because it still mimics the look of the 6-pack triple 2-barrel carburetors that were on this engine before. So you still get the awesome look. If you want to pop the intake off, you can show off your 6-pack, but it's fuel injection, which is the coolest thing in the world. You get the best of both worlds. Cool factor and modern reliability and power. And the Dakota digital gauges for this car still have the little blinker inside the gauge that's showing me that my right-hand blinker is on and I'm turning right, just like the original gauges did. How nice. And just like that, we're back home to fast lane. This has been awesome. I apologize, Christopher, the guy that's usually with me. I apologize again that you couldn't be here, but it's Friday and you're off work, and I can't just stop working because you're not here. Although I know you would have enjoyed driving this car, because this one is truly a treat. Runs and drives fantastic. Our in-house restoration department did a great job putting the fuel injection on it. And it's just a pleasure now. And it's comfy because it's a big Mopar. Real quick before I sign off, if you're interested in this car or any of our other cars in our inventory, you can visit us at www.fastlanecars.com. This is Fast Lane Classic Cars. We're in St. Charles, Missouri, about 15 minutes outside of St. Louis to the west. Or you can call us at 636-940-9969. All of our salesmen would be super happy to pick up and talk to you about this car or any of our other cars in our inventory and give you any information you need on pricing, availability, specs, stuff like that. And again, if you're into old muscle cars, please visit our YouTube channel and visit our website. We got all sorts of awesome stuff for sale. Mopar, Chevys, Fords, old stuff, newer muscle cars. We got something that you probably want or that you've probably wanted for a long time. But yeah, I think that covers just about everything. This car is awesome, and this has been Fast Lane Classic Cars. We'll see you in the next one.